Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for this My Dream Cup, hosted by My Dream on Esports Heaven. Here is the finals. It is Few versus YND. I'll do a quick roster rundown. YND, we have Runa, Kelbs, Torin, Fantasy, and because there's a kill spec you can't see, it's Anton, and for Few it's Quemo, Warren, BTEC, Thomas and Spucks. I am joined here today by Vince. How are you, Vince?
Hi dude, a roaster rundown?
Yeah.
You crack me up, Enzy. You crack me up.
Yeah, roaster rundown. A rundown. Nice. Nice. Roaster one down. Anyway, I'm just gonna have to quickly give a shout out and a big thanks. First of all, a big thanks for H2K TV, Lenny and Eagle. They have casted and streamed in this cup, and they have been a very big hand and really nice guys. And also a huge thanks to Lemzar. He's been the main admin for this cup and deserves a lot of ignition. So well done to Lemzar and all the teams, and let's get cracking on. So basically each team picks their map, they knife on which map goes first. YND chose Strike, Few chose Crossfire, and then they'll knife for sides, etc, etc, and the third map will be decided by knife again. So let's get cracking. Vince, you want to say what Runa's saying?
Oh, a shout out to Fsu, Cookie, Lemon and Danra from Runa. There you go.
And big shout out to Ryan from me. Lenny, we're waiting for you to ready up, mate. If you could ready up. Thank you, and let's get started on the knife round. Yo, Vince!
Sup?
What you doing, fool? You be commentating this, man. This is the finals.
Sick nade from Killspec. Oh yes.
Hold on.
Right, yeah, so it's the knife round to determine which map will be first, and then I assume we're having another knife round to determine which side will be which after that, Enzy. I mean, is that about right to you?
Sorry, I was typing.
Herp derp. I said this is a knife round to determine which map we'll be playing, and then I'm assuming they will knife again to determine which side.
Yes, and by the looks of it, I think it's going to be Crossfire again.
Don't worry guys, you're not bugging. I know it says there's no YND players left alive, but they do have a kill spec, so you're going to have that immense, brilliant bug again, which is a nightmare to cast as well as watch, I'm sure you'll understand.
And Few pick attack again, even though they were much better on defense on Crossfire. It's very weird.
It's important to note as well, guys, that the YND team has some pretty high caliber players in there. You have the likes of Fantasy, Anton, Torin, Kelbs and Runa both proved themselves to be very good players last week when we covered YND actually won the cup, if I remember correctly, in the finals of the last week's cup. So YND are definitely a strong team.
And I think they're just pissing about.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on here, to be honest. Is it another knife round for sides this time? Yes.
Yeah, but they haven't been knifing.
I'll be right back, I'm just getting the website for a friend to watch.
Okay.
Shout out to Chev actually. Although he won't hear this, so I might do a shout out again to him in a few. I'm just dribbling. Be right back.
Shout out to all chats worldwide.
No, you. Shout out to Obama, by the way. The real one. You know,
Shout
the
out
president.
to Bill Clinton.
Shout out to Jeremy Clarkson.
Shout out to Johnson & Johnson.
Simon Cowell. Shout out to Hakan and all of Pure. Unlucky they didn't make it. It was a close game. Well played to them.
Shout out to Kermit. It's hard being green.
Shout out to Beams. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, dude. I'm sorry if I'm not. Beams, he's a guy on IRC. Shout out to Chev for just being a sexy guy.
Shout out to Metis.
What?
Shout out to FSU for the second time. Minecraft noob. His Minecraft
anyway,
skills are over 9,000.
NC.
No, you're not going
to
to me.
Who do you
Who do I
fancy?
fancy? Megan Fox. Oh.
Why? She's... Oh, dude, no.
Or Cheryl Cole.
I thought you were better than that, man. Megan Fox.
Oh, you're better than that, man. Shout out, you fancy Gary Glitter, be quiet.
So? The man's well done. What can you do?
Anyway, it's knife again for the side of Crossfire. Let's see what's going on here, fool.
I really hate knives.
Shout out to HDK TV.
Just some observation. We have YND kill spec in spectator mode. Should that?
Yeah,
be
that's just for
relevant?
the knife. It's just for the knife.
I know, but if he stays there, will you be putting down the ban hammer?
I won't ban him, I'll warn him, and then if he doesn't do it, and then YND... I'm sure they won't anyway.
I love you too, Dirt. I love you too. That would just sound quite random, but on IRC, I just... That's towards IRC. I'm not randomly saying stuff to myself.
Metis, you are banned from this cup, can you please leave? Anything you might say might, I don't know the rest. Can someone finish it for me?
Will be held against you in the court of law.
Enzy, what were you trying to do then, dude? Because it didn't work.
I don't know, I was meant to say something else, and then I thought, again, and then yeah. And YND, get the knife round, and... they choose attack. If you saw the last game, they were actually stronger on defense than attack, so... See what's going on here, boys.
Although, to be fair, I think a lot of that was down to Pure. They're a very strong team. So, it might not necessarily be down to Pure. Down to few, I should say. But the team that they're playing against as well. Sorry, I just got a bit confused there because there's some spam going on in the global chat about what the dealio is.
Define dealio.
It's I guess you could say it's quite a camp way of saying deal.
Oh dear. And the score thing has glitched up again, I believe. Not sure yet.
I just got told there is no spam in global chat. Indeed, but I was getting spammed on Xfire as well. Put the two together, and I'm a retard that can't multitask, so you work it out.
Yep, the score thing has glitched up again, so we apologise for that. And we are missing Kelbs. No, Kelbs is there.
We're not
Anton.
missing anyone, we're just waiting for ready up.
We're missing Anton on the left bar thingy majiggy.
Oh, on the little
Oh yeah, brain, please, Vince.
I'm being told I'm a bad caster, so I need to give Plums a shout out to be redeemed. There you go, Plums. No hard
Yeah,
feelings,
Plums.
dude.
Yeah, please don't kill me. I love you. Shout out to Robez from Torin. And Johan the Polski Lawrence. Shout out to Fantasy. And here we go. You want to pick this up, Vince, for the first round of the final?
Let's do it! I'll follow. Let's see who the first player I get. From few is it Spucks. A guy a lot of people found quite, well, controversial in his game that we covered just a few minutes ago for his scoping. So I'm going to follow it again, see what he can do. Fantasy gets that first frag of the game. Expected it to be with an SMG, but he does manage to get the secondary frag with that SMG before being taken down from Warren. So he did very quickly get that double frag, opening the round up for his team, who find themselves on the aggressor's side on Crossfire. I'm going to switch back over to Spucks as he gets taken out from Kelbs from top A. In that back A area, Kelbs then goes around the corner of the Deagle, gets the double kill onto B-Tech. So just Warren remains now, and Warren is back towards their spawn. So, good luck, mate. Against 3 players. Runa has planted that bomb too. And Enzi seems to be creaming himself about Kelbs' skill. As Warren gets a frag onto Anton, but Kelbs gets the triple frag onto Warren, takes the first round for YND. And game on, Enzi.
Indeed it is. Let's follow Torin from the spawn. The sniper for YND. He misses a shot he maybe could have got, but I'm not in the position. As Spucks gets the scope kill onto Anton with the M40, and Torin doing a set nade, I believe, and Kel's picking the SMG frag up onto Quemo. And if we go to Warren is actually connection interrupted, but we can't see that due to the pings. Anyway, let's follow Kel's. He is house, and there is 2 to the left. Let's see if he can take both out. And Kelb seeing him missing the frag onto the scope, and Warren times out for Few. It's not good for Few at the moment, and it's not what we really want to delay. But B-Tech gets the headshot onto Torin, and Kelb's still in that A house. There's one below him as Fantasy picks up the frag onto B-Tech. Very nice frag there, and Kelb's tagging up the scope of Few, but Spucks replies onto Kelb's with that Deagle kill. So it is a 2v2, I believe. It is Fantasy and Ruiner versus Thomas and Spucks, as Ruiner trying to get the plant here, as Fantasy is trying to shoot down Spucks, and he does, but Thomas gets the frag on Ruiner. So Thomas does know where the bomb is now, puts him in an advantage, and he is in Lighthouse, and Fantasy has picked up the bomb, and he's just peeking under the car. Thomas just sitting in waiting for the real plant, and I suppose he will get this maybe from Thomas, and see what he can do.
Thomas, what are you doing?
And Fantasy. Oh my, oh dearie me. Fantasy picking up the SMG onto Thomas. Thomas is round right there, should have had it, and predictable. Few have called a timeout due to Warren's timeout.
Oh, what can you do when Thomas drops a dribble bomb in his pants? That was... what was he doing?
I
It was
don't
like 5
know.
seconds left. Fantasy went for the full plant. It was predictable, it was obvious, and he just sat there with his finger up his ass, watching the bomb. Didn't even get the exit frag as he ran up the bus either. Got taken down. Oh dear, Thomas. Oh dear.
Cool Frank. Cool Frank. I really don't know what he was doing, but he lost the round. It is 2-0 to YND in Crossfire, and hopefully Few's last player will connect. There's actually only 2 people on YND's side with frags, and that is Fantasy and Kelbs. Fantasy with 5 frags and Kelbs with 4. The rest with 0. And Torin is below the kill spec. Now that is embarrassing.
I'm still in awe of what I just saw from Thomas.
It's gonna be alright, man. It's gonna be alright.
I feel like, my IQ dropped watching that happen. It's now at an all-time low of like 53. I have a room temperature IQ as a result of watching that round. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you so much.
And Runa wants a shout out to Cookie again, as he wasn't watching before, so shout out to him. Now let's stop with the shout outs and play, well, shoutcast this game. Right, Vince? Without any fails like that.
Alright, NZ.
I'll eat meat. You want to go down the pub and get a beer?
What was that?
No, you. Lem, if you would rup, please. Thank you very much. Okay, Vince, take it away.
Okie dokie. Just to remind you, this is the My Dream Cup from ESH, brought to you from Lemza? Sorry if I'm saying that wrong, dude. And our very own Enzy, who I am shoutcasting alongside.
Yeah!
Spuxy gets the first frag, Thomas replying, as does Fantasy. 2 frag grenades are exchanged between both of the sides. Few are currently a player up. But having said that, YND... Well, actually they're 2 players. No, 1 player up. I apologise. The kill spec glitch is making my brains just dissolve in my head. So we have Fantasy and Kel's. Fantasy with a very nice long-range deagle onto B-Tech, who is camping around the B alley area. So it's now a 3-on-3. Fantasy jumps around the corner, taking down Thomas, who is trying to wall-bang the ceiling with a deagle. Wow. Fantasy then is going to jump up to the top A areas. He's being shot from the scope. From around the booth areas, the scope of Spux does get taken out from Kelp, so just Warren remains now. And Warren is at spawn again, not helping his team at all in that position. Really needs to be more aggressive, but somehow manages to get an unscoped headshot onto Kelbs while jumping. I don't think he even realised he got the frag as he kept shooting. He's trying to kill Runa here, and Kaf doesn't manage to do so as Runa picks up the deagle from his hands, shuts down Warren, and it is now 3-0 to YND.
Very nice play from YND and Fantasy himself. Let's pick it up with Fantasy. The guy with 8 frags to 1 death for YND. Putting up all the stops here, as you'd expect from a player of his caliber. But anyway, Spuck's getting the frag onto Kells, then Anton getting a frag onto B-Tech. So already, because of the kills, it's already a 4v4, now a 4v3. Fantasy picking up that really quick frag onto Thomas. He's trying to get shot from Calf, but he still doesn't get even a tag. And Fantasy with the AK-47 in the bottom A area. One is above him. And I don't think he knows yet, and he's trying to get wallbanged. I don't know what the other player's doing. Fantasy picking up a nice frag onto Warren, who was in Calf area. Last 2 is located on the A site, so they should get a comfortable plant on B. And Fantasy picking up another frag onto Quemo, going huge this round. As Spucks gets a frag onto Runa, then Fantasy again onto Spucks. And I'm pretty sure, is that an ace or something? I don't know. It's either an ace or a 4-man, but that was very nice play from Fantasy.
I can physically hear Enzy getting more and more moist in his pants as Fantasy goes huge. Currently on 12 frags after 4 rounds. Ridiculous. I'm going to switch over and see what Few can do in retaliation here as Thomas picks up that early frag grenade onto Kelbs. Kelbs is also playing very well too. Torrin scopes Spucks through the lower ruin area. So it is a 4-on-4. Switch over, see what YND are doing. You have Runa in the top corner house peering out onto that B plant, trying to cover his comrade who has just faked that plant. There is a player in Calf, which Runa's going to do his best to try and take out. Didn't quite manage to get the frag as he ran out of Calf after spraying across. Runa gets that frag onto B-Tech finally. Well played from Runa that. Fantasy pulls his deagle out as he sees another player in Calf. Torrent scopes Warren. So it is now a 3-on-3, a 3-on-2 I should say, as Kemi takes out Fantasy in lower light room. Thomas and Kemo have it all to do here. I'm going to switch over. Thomas is in bottom A, and Kemo is also around A. He's pushed into light room. There are 2 players ahead of him as Torren gets a brilliant shot through the wall onto Kemo. Thomas replying onto Torren with an AK frag. So it is now a 1-on-1 as Anton also falls by the wayside from Thomas's AK. Runa versus Thomas. Runa with a decent position here, overlooking the bomb. He's just going to spray as soon as Thomas goes near it. It was a fake defuse. Runa has also been tagged from Thomas. He's going to go back to the defuse again. Time's running out for him, so he knows it's going to be a proper defuse. Jumps out the window, picks up the frag on Thomas. Well played, Runa. 5-0 now to YND. Looking pretty comfortable here, Enzi.
Very comfortable for YND at the moment. Let's pick it up with Few, and let's pick it up with Warren with that AK-47 for Few. Going in the calf and gets a nice frag onto Torin as Anton gets a frag grenade onto B-Tech. As Runa gets a frag onto Thomas with that headshot, and Spucks getting a scope kill onto Runa. And Runa getting a kill, then going down again afterwards. We're in that calf area. We pick it up with Cuomo. There is one near the A site, but Kelv's getting heavily tagged up there as he's finally downed by Cuomo in that A house, and Anton has the bomb on B. That it is a 2v3 situation here in favour of Few. Anton with the bomb in B. Well, Fantasy is on the corner near the orange car, but as I'd say now, the brown car, as Spucksy misses a shot onto the B site. He's got that scope locked on the B site, but what can YND do? I'm not going to count them out just yet. YND have played phenomenally throughout this tournament, and let's see if they can do anything else. But Cuomo gets a frag on Fantasy, which might win this round for Few, what they desperately need. Otherwise it's going to be a 5-6-0, but that is not going to happen as Spucks gets a very nice scope and will win the round for YND. Desperately needed. What do you think of this, Matt?
Well, it's still looking very dominant to YND. They're 5-1 up. But as we said before, attack is very favourable to many teams. As Camo gets that first frag, Spucks replies, switch over to see what Spucks is doing here. He's really going to need to emulate that performance he did last round, and he actually is doing so at the moment. Top fragging for his team with 8 frags, Fantasy overall with 12. So, he's just peering across to see if he can spot anyone. The answer's pretty much no so far. I'll switch over to see what Torin is doing, which of course is YND's scope, although he may have dropped it actually. He has an SMG at the moment. And I also have to apologise for the viewers who are currently watching and are very confused about the left hand side of your screen that has the YND players on it. They do have a kill spec, so it kind of bugs for you guys at home. I can only apologise, there's nothing that we can do about that. And as I've been talking, YND have got 3, make that 4 very quick frags. Just Thomas remains now, and he's in no man's land in the middle of the street as Fantasy comes round the corner, picking up that double frag, giving himself 15 frags so far. Really outplaying the rest of his team, who are all around the 5 frag mark. So, Fantasy really doing it here, to be honest, Enzi. I mean, if you're Few, what do you do differently here to pick a couple of rounds up?
I'm really not sure. The playstyle of YND is just so aggressive. Few are just taken by surprise. It seems that they're not even expecting the aggressiveness of YND, and we will pick it up with Fantasy. Oh no, he gets down by Thomas with that AK-47, and then B-Tech getting a frag onto Anton. So maybe this is Few's round, I'm not sure, as B-Tech gets a frag onto Torin, and it is a 4 versus 2. And Few in very nice positions here. Ruiner, but Kelvs gets down with that Deagle, and Warren gets the frag onto Ruiner, and YND losing that round, but Few picking up the round. Anything can really happen from here, Vince. I'm really not sure what you think, but I think Few are not out of this game yet.
Oh, by all means. I mean, at the end of the day, dude, it's CoD4. Anything can happen in this game. I've seen it time and time again that a team will come back from this kind of scoreline and actually win. And remember, this is the best of 3. So even if they get rickrolled on this map, they still have another 2 maps to try and pull it back. But obviously the first map is important, as Kelbs gets that primary frag onto Camo, then gets the secondary frag onto Spunks? Spunks. He's been making me spunk plenty today, I'll let me tell you that. And Kelbs does get that 3rd frag of the round 2, so just 2 players remain for Few, Warren and B-Tech, and I'll follow Kelbs, see if we can get the ace here. B-Tech and Warren both get a frag each, SMG and grenade, so it's now a 3-on-2. Still in favour of YND though, and I'm just going to call Spunks from now on because I think it fits his name quite well. YND on the aggress here, Fantasy picks up that frag, B-Tech replying onto Kelbs, then Torin mops up the pieces onto B-Tech, so it's now 7-2 to YND, with Spunks going Well, he's actually top of the Few scoreboard at the moment with 9 frags, and then you have Fantasy on YND with 16 frags for 4 deaths. So it gives you an indication of how well Fantasy is currently playing at the moment.
Yeah, you are right. I would not be surprised if Fantasy 30 bombs this game. Anyway, let's pick it up with Spox. This scope of Few has been doing very well all these games that we've casted throughout the tournament, and has been really helping his team to success as Quemo gets an SMG to onto Kelbs, and most of YND's players is around that B site. What is normal? Fantasy picking up the frag onto B-Tech. Spox gets a glimpse of the enemy scope, but couldn't land the frag, and sees another player and picks up that very nice frag onto Fantasy. That was very nice. Oh my god, I'm coughing. And Spox just getting a very nice shot, and Fantasy just goes question mark. And if we can pick it up on to Anton of YND, and YND seem to be getting the plant down as Spox gets the frag onto Ruiner, who was planting the bomb, so it is suddenly a 2v4 situation as Anton gets downed by Quemo. So it's all up to Torin. Torin getting a frag there, sees another guy going to his right, which was the scope, but he has got to get that bomb down. It's going to be very hard with few players, and he's going to try and get the bomb plant on top of the bomb. And he gets naded from Spox. That was very unlucky. Spox getting a few nice kills there, and Spox again doing it for his team with all them nice kills. What do you think of Spox at the moment, Vince?
Well, my Freudian slip of the last round pretty much tells you with the Spunks thing. I think he's been pretty phenomenal so far in this cup from what I've seen of him. Very impressive player. And if he's legitimate, as you guys deemed him to be, then very, very good player, definitely one for the future. As Runa gets the first frag of this round onto B-Tech, who is bottom fragging for his team, with Anton bottom fragging for YND with 2 for 9. But as Fantasy is carrying so hard, it doesn't really matter at the moment. I'm going to switch over and see what Few are actually doing. They have 3 players congregated around the A area, with Kelb just going huge, picking up that frag onto Chemo, then onto Thomas, brilliant double frag, triple frag onto Spunks as well. That's 3 frags in around as many seconds. Unbelievable play from Kelbs. Can he get this 4th frag? The answer is no, as Runa just jumps in, picking up the frag onto Warren with his AK-47. But that round was definitely the Kelb show. Well played to him.
Yes, that round was the Kelbs show, and let's pick it up with Kelbs going absolutely huge that last round with 2 headshots. Oh my god, he's so obvious, isn't he? Anyway, he's got the SMG in hand, normally pushes through A, as Tori gets a headshot with that scope onto Thomas. Well, it's very nice, and Kelbs doesn't know there's one behind him, but he quickly gets to the A side as Quemo gets a frag on Fantasy, but Kelbs knows where Quemo is as Torian gets a frag onto Spucks. Kelbs getting heavily tagged there, so does Quemo. So it is basically a battle between Quemo and Kelbs around that A site. But Kelbs' teammate is near the A site, so he could help him as Warren gets the frag onto Anton. Kelbs finally downs Quemo. That puts him in a much better position to help out his other 2 teammates left. So it is a 3v2 situation in favour of YND as Kelbs sees him in the Melon's house as he's getting shot at by the right. I'm not sure if that was the right thing to do, as Anton's actually reconnecting, but Kelbs knows there's one to his right. And Torian gets the frag onto B-Tech with a deagle, and indeed, like you said, they know exactly where that player is, and Ruiner indefinitely getting that frag, and it is 9-3 to YND advantage going into the second half of this game on Fuse maps. What do you think of this, Vince? It is their map and all, and they're getting dominated 9-3.
Yep, their map, their choice of side, and they're losing. I mean, you don't really need to say too much more than that. They're losing quite comfortably too. 9-3 against them, but if you remember last game as well, Enzi, they were losing that game too, and they did come back and manage to win that one. I think it was 13-7, so you can't put them out of this game yet, but they weren't against the kind of caliber of players that YND currently possess. So we're just going to have to see how this one unfolds. As we said before, it is CoD4, guys, so just keep it open as Kelbs gets another frag onto Warren with the SMG. Spucks has seen two players around that back A area, a scope and an SMG I believe it was, but doesn't manage to get a frag on either. Let's see if Anton's score, reset, reconnect can work out for him here as he's got that AK running towards the calf, and the answer is no as Spucks picks him up as he crosses. Nice shot from Spucks. All even again at 4 apiece. B-Tech has actually managed to put the favour in the hands of Few with that tack grenade. Thomas replying onto Torrent. So it's now a 4-on-2 with the bomb being planted. Or has that been a fake? It has been a fake from Camo, and if you remember from last cast, he was designated bomb carrier from Few at that time too, as Thomas gets another frag onto Runa. So just Kelbs remains with the Deagle and the SMG. He's going to have to pull out something ridiculous, and he can't manage to do so as Camo has got that frag after planting the bomb site. So it is now 9-4. So, I mean, Few have got the first round of this half. I mean, Enzi, do you really realistically see Few coming back in this game, or do you think that YND are just going to take it home?
Well, like you said, it's CoD and anything can happen. As Spucks gets the opening frag onto Anton with that scope, stuff like that. Really, Few need Spucks going absolutely huge if they want to bring this back. As Torin down Spucks, what is not a very good sign for Few, as Spucks is the top fragger for them again, and B-Tech and I believe Quemo are in the B site. The bomb is at B, and Warren is in the bicycle house as 4 YND members are actually on A defending that B site as one crosses into Calf. As Quemo is trying to spray through the smoke. Runa is in that Calf as Kelbs gets a very nice headshot onto Quemo and then laughs at him through chat, and Thomas picking up the frag onto Runa, and Kelbs in that house again on A top, and he is just absolutely decimating them through A. I thought Few would have by now maybe at least expected him in A. What do you think about this, Vince? He's gone A every single round and they just haven't been able to stop him.
Well, as you say, they haven't been able to stop him. That's been the main issue. They need to learn from their mistakes, adapt to them. That's what the best teams do, and that's the reason why right now they're currently losing. But Torrent has managed with the scope so far very nicely as the bomb goes down from Thomas. And Torrent didn't manage to get that frag after Thomas ran away from the bomb. Warren picks the frag up on Torrent. So that is 2 rounds in a row fairly quickly to Few. They have bridged the gap now to 4 rounds, but they still have a long way to go before they can consider themselves equal in this affair. So Torrent picks up the first frag of this round onto B-Tech. Thomas replying with a frag grenade onto Anton. Seems like his reconnect hasn't done anything as he's now on 0 for 3 again. Unfortunately, if you're Anton, you must be raging. I'm following Torrent here with the scope, looking up towards the opposite side of the street, looking maybe for that scope and Spucks. No luck as of yet though. He did just see a player in bottom right, has also spotted the hand and face of Spucks just peering on the corner, waving at Torrent, but didn't manage to get that frag. So it is a 4-on-4 still, all even with around a minute to go left in the round. Going to pick up the action with Spucks. He is still in that spawn house area as Warren gets the frag onto Kelbs in the face from close range. Sounding like that was an SMG frag. I'll switch over. It is. He's in the top A area. You can see a player outside the calf. Doesn't manage to land any of those Deagle shots. So it's now 3 versus 4 against YND, but Fantasy is still alive and he's still roaming around that back A area. Pick up the action with him. He's pushing forward with the SMG. 2 players around him. Warren gets a nice Deagle frag onto Ruiner. Fantasy sees Thomas in light, then picks up the frag onto Warren as he's pushing out of top A. Whips the Deagle out, trying to get the exit frag onto Thomas. He runs away to top light room, I should say. The bomb is down though, so it is a 3-on-2 with the bomb down. And Fantasy gets closed off by a pretty lame spot from Thomas, has to be said. He was around the spawn car area. I'm not sure why you'd be there, but he got the kill and that's all that matters. Just Torrent remains, and he needs to defuse this bomb and kill 3 players. He's got the first kill through smoke onto Thomas, doesn't manage to get the secondary frag onto Spucks, I should say, from point blank range. He whips out his Deagle, closes him off, and that's 3 rounds on the bounce now to Few. So this is the kind of momentum that they needed NZ. What do you think about this, dude?
Man, this is what they really need. They just need to carry this on, picking YND off as they go, and just get them to shut up flaming on them. Even if it is funny, but I want to pick up the action with Torin with that scope. He's been doing a very good job, as if Warren gets the SMG kill onto Runa, and then Kelb's getting the SMG frag onto B-Tech, and then another frag onto Warren. Kelb's going absolutely huge again as Torin sees Thomas, and this is exactly what Few does not want. Kelb's just decimating them, and Torin as well. Indescribable duo, if you could say that, as Fantasy gets a headshot onto Sparks, and then Fantasy finishing Quemo off, and YND just absolutely raping Few.
Yeah, that round was pretty damn comfortable for YND. Definitely put that comeback to a halt as B-Tech and Warren both pick up a very early frag grenade onto Kelbs and Anton respectively. Thomas gets a third frag in the favour of Few. Spuck's coming up huge onto Fantasy, so just Runa remains. He's been heavily tagged in the back of Calf and finally shut down from Thomas with that wall bang through the crate area. So it's now 7-10. That round was ridiculously fast, and it looks like Few are getting a bit more confidence here. They didn't particularly start very well, but they're seemingly growing in confidence, growing in skill, as Spucks picks up another frag, this time onto Fantasy straight off the bat. That Talisman is down. He has 20 frags already, but he is down in this round. This is exactly the kind of round that Few need to win, as Runa comes into Melon Room, kills one, doesn't manage to kill two, as Quemo comes around the corner, closing off Runa as he was just starting to get moving and motivated in the Melons area. So it is a 4-on-3 here. Few have the man advantage. It looks like YND are trying to just lay in wait here as Thomas gets the frag onto Torin. In that B alley, Torin tried the deagle wall spam into Melons. The bomb is going down from Quemo. It was actually a fake. Warren and Spucks both pick up a frag, and it's now 10-8, and this is looking quite close, NZ. As we said, anything's possible.
Indeed, Few getting a lot of momentum, basically sticking the middle finger up to YND and saying taste a bit of this, as Sparks gets wiped out by Torin. That is not good for Few, but Thomas replies onto YND, onto Nade Magnet, aka Anton, and that connect really did not do anything, and now is raging in chat saying every fucking time I get naded, but let's not go into that. Warren gets heavily tagged up there as Thomas gets the frag onto Kelbs, then Fantasy on to Thomas, so Thomas getting a frag there and then getting absolutely wiped out, and it is a 3-on-3 situation if I am correct. For Few it is Quemo, Warren and B-Tech, but Warren is getting very quickly tagged up, and for YND it is Fantasy, Torin and Ruiner, and this could go either way. If you get this round, this will put them in a very good position as Quemo picks up the frag onto the scope of YND, puts them in an even better position to win this round, and they really need to get this plant down, and they do. All they need to do now is sit in and not do a fail like the second round, I believe, as Warren picks up the frag on Fantasy, and Ruiner is the only one left, and Few, this could be a very important round for them if they can pick this up, and I believe they can, but let's not count Ruiner out yet. He could pull off something absolutely huge, but the positions Few are in, I really don't think that could happen, as he is getting tagged up from every single spot. There's one to his right, one to his left, and one straight in front of him. He's just getting absolutely raped from all sides as Quemo picks up the frag onto Ruiner, and now 10-9. It was 9-3 at the half, I believe, and Few just bringing it back and playing absolutely amazing these past few rounds, as all their team is starting to get frags, not just one, and it is working.
Some banter going on between the YND boys with, I think it was Kelbs that said, "Yo Anton, I heard you like James Bond," obviously referring to Anton's score, but he has came straight up Melons and killed Quemo, which I believe is his first frag of the entire game, and we're around 20 rounds through. Kelbs gets the frag of his own. Spucks scopes Runa, who just pops into Boiler Room, probably didn't expect that, so it is now a 3-on-3 as Warren picks up that deagle frag onto Fantasy. Warren has been heavily tagged in the process, but will probably regen as Kelbs gets a frag of his own onto Thomas with the SMG, comes around the corner, doesn't manage to finish Warren off, who has now regened fully. So Few are a player down here. But they've made a ridiculous comeback considering where they were just a few moments ago. It's now a 2-on-2 as Spox picks up the Deagle frag. Warren with a kill onto Kelbs in that lower light area. So it's now a 2-on-1 all against Torin. And he has been spotted from Warren in that bottom light, top light area on the stairs, and he has been closed off from Warren. So a brilliant comeback from Few has been completed. 10-10. It's all even. Game on.
Oh, you said it right here, right now. And let's pick it up with Spucks. The scope of Few has been doing absolutely brilliant in this tournament. And to be honest, I really don't see him hacking, as Nade Magnet gets an SMG kill onto BTEC, and Kelb's getting a frag onto Warren, and then Nade Magnet again onto Spucks, and then Thomas with the AK-47 as Quemo and Thomas both get tagged up. And Kelb's then getting the frag kill onto Fantasy. Is now suddenly a 2v2 situation. Thomas gets that frag onto Kelb's, and it can really go either way again here. And it'd be very nice for Few to pick up this game, as this is their map. As Ruiner picks up the frag kill with the grenade onto Quemo. Suddenly a 1v2. He's got one to his right and one to his left. And just see which one he goes for first and see if it's right. If he can pick up this one frag, this might put him in the driver's seat, but there is one behind him as he sees the scope Torin, but Torin picks up the Deagle kill onto Thomas. Very nicely weighted and just done by Torin as YND pick up that round. It is now 11-10 in favour of YND.
See, Andy, this is the type of moment where you really see a team's character, and if they can carry on going and doing what they do best, and Torin and Fantasy are trying to do just that. They did have a huge lead, it was brought way back, and now they're going to have to see how big their balls are and see if they can really close this game out. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They're now 11-10 ahead, so they did just pull ahead once more as Anton gets another frag onto Kemi. Or Camu, I should say, sorry, and then a frag onto BTEC, so double frag from Anton around the Melons area. He's now pushed into Boiler, and the last player from Few is dead. I was going to say he's around the top corner building, but he was shut down in the back from Fantasy with a Deagle, so it's now 12-10, and map point. I nearly said match there, which would have been completely wrong. This is the best of three after all. It is map point now to YND, NZ. I mean, do you see them closing this off now?
I'm not gonna count Few out yet, as you know, but YND get two quick frags onto Few. They really need to even this out if they want a chance again. There's a Spucks gets two nice, very nice frags. What evens it out, what they really needed. Spucks going huge for his team. If they want to tie this up to give them a mutual advantage going into the second game, as he sees the scope Scun as Kelbs gets the frag onto Thomas. And BTEC getting the frag onto Kelbs. That is good. It is now 2v2 again. The bomb is on B. Anything can happen. Few versus YND 2v2. Torin and Ruiner versus BTEC and Spucks. And this is very exciting here as it is a 2v2. And anything can happen. As Ruiner picks up the frag on BTEC. It's a 1v2. Now a 1v1. Spucks getting the frag onto Ruiner. Can Spucks get this frag and put them 12-11. He is below him, pushing around the B area on that wall, but he is going to hear the fake defuse any moment, and it really depends on Torin's movement of what he is going to do. Is he going to peek out now, or is he thinking it's going to be a fake? And Torin sees him. He's going to get the actual plan as he tags up Spucks. Really should have got that frag there as Spucks has the AK-47 in hand, and Torin is just to his right. And Spucks gets the frag as Fuse win they win the round, and that was absolutely crucial for Few as Spucks goes off huge for his team. They really needed that round, and they could easily get a 12-12 here. What do you think, Vince?
Well, I think their chances have definitely just plummeted after Spucks just got scoped from Torin straight from spawn. So their key man has been down. Torin comes around the corner, picks up another frag onto Thomas. BTEC and Camo both pick up a frag apiece, so it's all even again at 3 apiece. And it's all to play for here. Torin sees another player on that A area, doesn't manage to land the frag or a tag. It was BTEC, I believe, perhaps not actually. I think it may have been Warren, who's now pushed up to top 8. He has that Deagle and the SMG. Camo's just holding around Melons, biding his time. He's going to probably go and fake the plant a couple times. Try and just goad out those players from YND with their nades. There's the first fake. Are they going to fall for it? The answer is a pretty resounding no. They've seen this before. And they're just biding their time, waiting back in. Discipline spots Torin is being tagged from 2 different areas. Does somehow manage to get that kill onto Warren. Looks at the bomb as the Chemo is trying to get that bomb plant down. Gets the bomb plant down. Torin tags him in the back heavily. Doesn't get the frag though, so it's now a 3-on-2. And the bomb is down, and it's against Few in that man advantage battle. So Chemo and B-Tech have to defend that bomb, or YND win this map. B-Tech has given his position away. There's 2 players coming towards him. He has the SMG, so close range. He does have the advantage here. Chemo picks up Torin. B-Tech picks up Fantasy. Just Runa remains. It goes from an advantage to YND to an advantage to Few. The bomb's down. I can't see Runa doing this, even though he's a top-class player. And the time is running out, so any second now. There we go. B-Tech picks up the frag onto Runa. 12-12. Overtime. What a brilliant map this has been.
What a game. That was an absolute stunner of a game. That was very nicely played from both sides. It was a 12-12. Puts it in a mutual position going into the second map. And, you know... And I believe the map is Strike. YND's choice now, please. And a little banter going on between overtime and the second map, and it all goes to Strike.
I was thinking that we'd go to overtime, but obviously I was mistaken. So, what happens now if they draw this map too? Does it go into a 4th map?
3rd. Actually, yeah, I didn't think of that.
Surely that should go into overtime and one team should win the map and then you go into the second map, but perhaps I'm just talking out my anus.
Wait 1 minute. Yeah, it will go back to Crossfire for overtime. That was my bad. Sorry, guys. Wasn't thinking straight.
Apologies for the quiet time here, guys. We're just trying to figure out what's going to happen.
3rd map will go into overtime. If it's... yeah.
So, effectively, we're going to play... whoever wins this map wins the final. Is that right?
No.
I'm so very confused.
Okay, I have confirmed that the winner of this map will win the tournament.
Okay, so it all comes down to strike. And I think it's going to be a knife round to determine which side is which. I can only apologise, guys, if I dribble a bit, but it's pretty damn late here in Finland. I think it's like 2 or 3 in the morning, so I be tired. Half 2 in the morning.
Sorry for that little bit of delay slash trouble. That was my bad. Also, guys, for now, I will be hosting a cup next week on Saturday, same time as this cup. I'm gonna make it 64 slot. I'm gonna try and get it shoutcasted, etc. again. So hopefully you guys will sign up via esportsheaven.com. And again, special thanks to HDK TV, Vince, Lems, and everyone that's helped out with this cup tonight.
You are most welcome. I've no idea if you just heard that, but some random cheesy music just went off.
Beyond the game.
And few win the knife.
And I think that Fantasy disconnected, so I'm kind of not sure if he's reconnecting or if the kill spec will fill in for him or what the deal is. But few won the knife round. They've decided to go attack, which again is kind of strange, I think. Well, actually, maybe not. I think maybe 60% of teams prefer defense on this map, but it's kind of personal preference at the end of the day. I would have chose defense, but that's me.
I think
How
attack
about you, NZ?
Attack, I think, is probably actually easier. But the only way attack's easier if you've got a more aggressive side. If you haven't got an aggressive side, then attack is absolutely useless.
So, some controversy. We disagree, and apparently Fantasy has gone and he has the Arc on, so this could be a nightmare.
No, he's
reconnecting. Never mind.
He's toggling.
Okay.
Anyway.
So, if you've just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching the cast for the first time, or perhaps you've just came back after a long absence, we are covering the My Dream ESH Cup. This is the final map. Whoever wins this map will win the whole cup and tournament. I am Metis, and I'm joined with Enzi, who is actually one of the admins of this cup.
I got knocked out and raped first game, so I came to shoutcast. That's what I normally do anyway.
I can definitely vouch for that. You did get pretty butt touched in that first game.
Be right back, I got a cough. Alright, Vince, you want to open this up with your commentary on the first round?
Yes. But also, can you just give the guys in IRC an answer as to who came third in this cup? Because a couple of people have asked, and I have no clue.
No one.
No one came third.
Nope. There is no reward for coming third, nor there will be a third.
Okay, you heard it here first, guys. There has been no third. Apparently, after the team loses, they are just vanquished into outer space. So there you go.
Indeed.
The only player so far to have fallen has been Thomas from Few, so YND do have the upper hand. YND, of course, are the defending team at the moment, with Few winning the knife round and deciding to go... Sorry, I think I got that mixed up. Few are defending, YND are attacking. I'll stop drooling now. Spux gets a very nice frag onto Fantasy as he's pushing that B entrance. Fantasy is blaming lag, as he very well have got some pretty bad lag, to be fair. He seemed to be teleporting across the entrance to me when I was watching him, but it could just be me lagging. So currently we have YND pushing the statue in the form of Torn, but he is on his own. If he goes down here, the bomb will be in a very precarious position, but he did manage to get that close SMG frag onto Warren. He is planting the bomb now as Kemo gets a frag onto Anton. Kelb's replying onto Spox. Just Kemo remains now, and he is in that drain pipe area, rushing towards the bottom B house, and he has been closed off by Kelbs, who is laying in wait in that window with the Deagle playing peekaboo. And the first round of this map, of this final map of the Cup, goes to YND.
Indeed it does, and I will pick up off the spawn with Torin the scope of YND, picking up 3 frags in that one round there, scoping across on the mid area and pushing into Calf way. And he's gone out and no one gets the opening frag with a grenade, and Torin picking up a nasty tag as he gets down by Warren. I'm not sure if you saw him or it was just a late reaction, but he got downed from him as Warren gets taken down by Ruiner, and then Kelbs getting the headshot onto Spucks, and now it is a 3v3 situation. Make that a 2-on-2 situation as Anton gets the frag onto B-Tech. It is Kelbs and Ruiner versus Thomas and Quemo, but now it is a 1v2 situation as Thomas gets downed by Ruiner. He's got to pull off something big here if he wants to win this round for Few, but he will not, as Kelbs denies him the clutch as he picks him off with that frag.
Almost a carbon copy of the last round we watched, with Kemo being the last Few player to remain, and well, the same thing happened last time it happened too. So here we go. We are in the 3rd round here. I'm following Ruiner, who is on the hotel walls with the AK, probably spotting across to see who goes into A and how many, calling for the rest of his team. Kelbs is pushing very aggressively into the B site with the Deagle and the bomb. He's on the signpost at the moment. I think he may have tried a little jump or something like that. There is a player to his left and a player to his right, so they seem to be stacking quite heavily, the Few boys, in the B site. There's 3 people in B, so it's quite an unorthodox kind of defense here as Warren gets that frag onto Kelbs. So first blood is after 40 seconds in this round. It does go in the favour of Few, but Ruiner comes around the corner picking up 2 very tasty frags onto Spucks and Warren. So now the favour is in the hands of YND. B-Tech shuts down Ruiner from behind with a single palm. Kemo replying onto Torin. Ruiner laughs his ass off for the amount of time that he stood there. Anton gets a brilliant double frag of his own, so it's Fantasy and Anton versus B-Tech. Fantasy is on that B site and he will plant it straight away. B-Tech is pretty much clueless on the A bomb site. He now knows that the bomb has been planted on B from Fantasy and will make his way slow, snail-like, over to the B site, being very cautious, but it doesn't work out from his Fantasy closes him off from the top of B house, making this 3-0. I'm getting deja vu here, Enzy, from the last map that we watched on Crossfire.
What's going on? Oh my god, he forgot to take it off MR3.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
And that was a major fail on Fantasy's part, and I've just asked Few to suicide 3 rounds in a row to get them rounds back. What is fair, I think.
This is what happens when it's towards 2:30 in the morning. A fair amount of drool and dribble gets scattered around the place and people slip over and make mistakes.
Indeed,
So
Lenny, if you want to wrap.
I'm assuming that... Did you say that Few were going to suicide 3 rounds to make this back to the scoreline it was previously?
Yes, I did say that, and hopefully they will do that, and it looks like they're not. Oh dear. And they're actually playing.
Well, I honestly have no idea how Few can't quite grasp the concept of suiciding 3 times. They're actually playing seriously, which is well. Oh dear.
And
Okay, they're starting
it
to
looks like
suicide
they
now.
are.
So I
Hopefully.
think the penny may have finally dropped.
And sorry for this, guys. And while they're actually doing this, I want to give a shout out to Bart from my team. Shout out to Bart. And H2K TV and everyone I've thanked already again, because I'm nice like that. So we should get back into action as they suicide.
Okay, there we go. 3-0 was the score before, so we will have game on, as Enzi is saying in the global chat. Obviously the scores have been reset. I believe Anton was playing pretty well.
He might have to reconnect again.
Didn't work for him last time. I'm going to pick up the action with Thomas, who's pushed very aggressively into the mid-shop area. There's two players just in front of his iron sights. He's got the first. It was Anton. There's another player up to his left on the link bins as Camo gets a secondary frag onto Kelbs. So Few starting this round definitely in the right mindset. Being aggressive, having that controlled aggression, which wins so many teams, so many rounds. Fantasy has replied though with a frag of his own onto Camo. And Kelbs leaves the game, which is
reconnecting.
Strange.
He had 0 free because he suicide 3 rounds.
Oh dear. Anywho, it is a 3-on-3 situation. A 3-on-4 I should say, sorry. And Spucks doesn't manage to get that frag, but Thomas does onto Ruiner. So just Fantasy and Torin remain, but Fantasy is a machine when he wants to be. There's the first frag onto Spucks. Just Fantasy remains now as Thomas returns fire onto Torin. It's a 3-on-1. Fantasy has been dropped from Warren. So the score now is 3-1 to YND. And that's the first round on the board for Few.
Yeah, I was just thinking, maybe them 3 rounds of maybe having a break has ruined YND's confidence or drive to actually win this game. But I'm not sure, we'll have to see anyway. Let's pick it up with Torin with that scope for YND again. Into the overlook area. There's one on his right, one in the middle of the B alley. He did, I believe, tag the scope of Few. So he misses a shot on that statue as he gets flashed up. And Few all around the A bomb site. But yet again, YND are pushing that bomb site. It's Ruiner. Kelbs get a frag apiece. And is now... And Kelbs gets another frag onto Thomas. It's now a 2v5 situation as a Sparks massively failing the deagle there, but redeeming himself with the knife as Anton then replies onto him and shoots him straight down as Fantasy and Torin get a frag apiece. And I think I should just shut my mouth about the drive to win the game because they're not giving up.
I don't think it necessarily may have been a drive, more momentum, because they were definitely dominant for those first 3 rounds. And Spucks here has got the frag onto Anton as Ruiner fails a flashbang, throws it against the wall, lands against his face. Fantasy has got a frag of his own onto Thomas, so it's all even again. Even Stevens. Kelbs tries the long-range sexy deagle shot, but doesn't manage to land anything. He does have the bomb in hand. It looks like he's going to try. I think that may have been a jump he was trying. So I'll switch over and see what Few are doing here. You have Warren in the double bins area. He has a player on single palms. Ruiner is coming round the corner here to Calf. Checking that single palms area. No one's home. Warren does get that kill onto Torin. B-Tech replying onto Kelbs. So the Few players on the A site doing it for their team here. Locking that bomb site down. Making it their own. Runer's pushing through the calf area here. There's a player dead ahead of him. It was Spucks. He gets the frag. B-Tech mops up the pieces of this round into Fantasy. And it is now 4-2 to YND.
Indeed, and if you go by what you said earlier about defense being a better side for teams, what you prefer, as you think it's better, then Few really need to start getting these rounds in. But let's pick it up with Thomas. He's going aggressive with that SMG towards Flower area. There is one behind Flowers, and he's going to jump in, and he hears him jump in. Thomas gets the frag onto Kells, and then Anton getting the frag grenade on to B-Tech. And Thomas pushing through that link area into their spawners. Anton gets another frag onto Sparks. Very nice play there from Anton. And Thomas with that SMG, and he sees an enemy on sandbags but doesn't dare to shoot due to SMG. But there is one behind him as Thomas picks up the frag on Fantasy, as Anton picks up another 2 frags. I believe that might have been an ace or a 4-man, I'm not sure, but YND definitely going huge here with Anton.
Let's see what YND can do in this round. They seem to be playing quite passive on the attack. I haven't seen them all out rush yet. They seem to congregate around a bomb site, push it, feel it out, see how many of those few players are around. Then once a couple of the few players are down, they will push that bomb site. And so far, Chemo and Fantasy have both got a kill each. So it's all even again. Kelbs with a brilliant deagle shot onto B-Tech, who's around that single palm area. So the A-bomb site is their oyster if they choose to push it. And Anton's done just that as he gets the frag onto Warren. Fantasy shoots Spucks. Anton actually gets the final last hits to get that frag. So Anton again going huge in this round. Fantasy has found Chemo, so it's only a matter of time before Chemo gets dropped. But Chemo manages to get the frag on Kelbs. And Fantasy mops up the pieces onto Chemo just before that bomb blows up and takes them both out. And it's now 6-2 to YND. And again, they're starting to just edge a bit forward, ever closer to that elusive win for this cup.
Yes, like you said just then about that, this did happen on Crossfire, if you remember, and somehow Few did bring it back. They did play very nice. Hopefully we won't get another draw, although it'd be very exciting if that happens, as Quimo gets a frag onto Anton, as Fantasy is around that compound area with the AK-47 in hand, but then gets down by Warren, with Kelvs getting heavily tagged up as he gets a nice jump shot with the SMG on Quimo, then gets a very nice shot onto Spucks. And I'm not going to rule out Kelvs yet, as he's been playing absolutely phenomenal in this tournament, and he has got the SMG in hand. The bomb is on the other side of the map, but I do not think that few know where the bomb is. So Kelvs here got to pull off something really big here. Spots one of them, gets that frag. One to his left, near Stevie. He's going to try that strafe. And he sees him down there. He picks up the frag on Warren. He's got one more left. And I believe then he will get a 1v5 if he gets this round. And absolutely going huge for Kelbs. And all he needs is to get this bomb, get that bomb plant. And Kelbs getting an amazing, phenomenal round. Let's see if he can do it here. Sees him at the bins. Tags him up quite heavy, but he has to go aggressive on that bomb site, as Thomas for Few has the SMG in hand, pushing the bomb site, but Kelbs will get that bomb plant down. He's only got to shoot him, and he's right in the middle behind the sandbags, and Kelbs looks like in a better position, to be honest, here. As soon as Thomas gets up, Kelbs has got to go auto aim on his ass and actually get him, and he sees peaks, and Kelbs gets the frag, getting a 1v5. Kelbs going absolutely huge for YND. Absolutely amazing play from Kelbs, and that was Few's round. They just absolutely threw it away there. Kelbs going absolutely huge, Vince. What do you think about that round?
That's a mixture of Kelbs playing ridiculously well and Few just rushing him. They were frag hunting, they got punished for it. It's exactly the reason the top teams get disciplined in those 1v5 situations, because they don't want to be embarrassed like Kelbs just did to Few. It's exactly what just happened. They all rushed for the kill, they all died one by one, and Kelbs has probably a huge grin on his face right now, as it is a 3-on-3. I just want to give a big shout out to Ozbot, my fellow Rage TV caster, the big sexy American. There you go, dude. It is a 3-on-3 in this round, and I'm not sure who 300 ping. I'm assuming that's Fantasy for YND. 300 ping. Ouch! And he still has 5 frags. I've got Chemo here, who's looking around the mid shops area from the bottom of B house. A complete contrast to that last round, which was all action and all adrenaline fueled. This round has seemed to have slowed down, way down. Nothing's really happening here after that couple of flurry of kills in the first few seconds, as Thomas gets that frag onto Runa in the mid shops. Fantasy's looking out to mid shop to see if he can pick the frag up. BTEC kills Torren, so it's all down to the 300 ping Fantasy here. He has the bomb, he's rushing towards front A. He's seen a player mid shops, can't manage to get the frag onto Thomas, who SMGs him down, and it's now 7-3 to YND, who are very much in the driver's seat at the moment, NZ.
Indeed they are. Absolutely amazing play going on from YND here. But I will pick up with Quemo, as we haven't really gave Few that much of airtime, as YND are going absolutely huge, as Quemo sees someone crossing in Flower to the right side, but he is getting shot at. I'm not sure where. It might have just been a random spray, but Thomas picking up the frag on Anton, and then Ruiner replying onto Thomas with that all-important frag to even out again. 4v4, there's actually one pushing in the front of B, and Quemo not being able to pick up that frag, and he did get flashed, and in that B site it is Kelbs, and he is pushing him, and he gets that frag onto Quemo. One is at the back of B. He does not know, of course. Ruiner picks up the frag on BTEC as Kelbs gets another frag onto Warren, and already a 1v4 situation as Kelbs just wipes him out again, and Kelbs going absolutely huge for YND once again. Another round, and let's call it the Kelbs show, guys. Really, Kelbs is going absolutely huge in this game.
Indeed, but any good team support each other through thick and thin, and I mean, Kelbs is on 11 frags, you have Anton on 9 frags, who's definitely providing the cavalry support here for Kelbs to do what he's doing. As Kelbs gets closed off on statue, Chemo Warren and Anton will get a frag apiece. BTEC comes in onto Anton afterwards. Thomas onto 300 ping, who is Fantasy. Runa just remains in the blink of an eye, has been closed off from Spuxy through the wall with a deagle. So, Few win that round, and it's 8-4 now to YND, but I have a bit of deja vu here, dude, because last map we saw something very similar. Few came back to draw the map, which you would have never thought after the first 5 or 10 minutes. So, as we said in the first map, it's not over till it's over.
I know, and the bad thing about it was, I believe, at half-time it was 8-4 as well. So we might just have a repeat, if we're actually lucky, of Crossfire as a draw. This is a very exciting final here by two merely unknown teams, but the players themselves I think are actually fairly known, as Torren falls to his death as BTEC gets that frag, and two players for YND are down, make that free as Fantasy gets taken down by BTEC, and Fantasy apparently on 300 ping. That is not good for YND. I think maybe going a little bit too, if I were them I'd time out and get his ping back up, but as Few are getting rounds back, and this is what YND don't want, and we don't want someone on, yes, as I said.
You called it. Mystic End strikes again.
They realise that Few are getting rounds back, and they're going absolutely huge some rounds, and they have to really get a timeout to get Fantasy's ping back up to standard, or I don't think they're going to have a chance of winning this game. But I don't know. What do you think about this event?
Well, I mean, Fantasy and Crossfire was carrying the team. It's that simple. And without him, you lose a very important player in your team. And with 300 ping, even a player of his caliber is probably only at around 30% of his capabilities. Because in any close range affair, and remember, Fantasy is an SMG player, in a close range affair, a 300 ping versus a 50 ping, the 300 ping is going to lose 9 times out of 10. So it just gives you an indication of how important having a 300 ping is and how detrimental it is to your performance. So, as you said, YND needed to call that timeout. Hopefully Fantasy can restart his router or go punch whoever's downloading granny porn in his house and just get on with the game, and hopefully close this one out if you're a YND supporter.
Yes, indeed. And while we are on a timeout, I would like to give another shout out to Lemon. There you go, Lemon. And this has been a very heated up final, backwards and forwards, basically. Like last map on Crossfire, if you were watching, Few bring it back again, and it looks like maybe Few bring it back again. By the form they look in, they are actually trying to bring this back, what they should be doing, and playing pretty well, to be honest.
been asked which Anton is this. This is the Irish Anton. I believe he was in pre-invite with, actually I could get this wrong, and if I do I apologise, with Fusion possibly. If he wasn't in Fusion, I'll get a slap on the wrists, and I fully apologise for that. But either way, he is the Irish Anton that many people in the community know. Then obviously you have Fantasy, who's actually DC'd at the moment, who obviously used to play for a lot of household names. You also have Torin, who's a well-known player, Runa, who's a great player, and Kelbs, who's been going massive the entire match so far, probably the whole tournament to be honest. So all the YND players, very accomplished players, very decent players, and a pleasure to watch. Same with Few actually. Few are giving this a good game. They did a brilliant comeback in the first map, if you didn't see it before. Came back from around, I believe it was like 7-1 or something, NZ, at one stage, and they brought that one back to be a 12-all. So it's been quite a close affair, this one, and there's only 3 rounds in it now on strike.
Yeah, just hopefully Fantasy can come back soon and we can continue with this fast-paced, heated action here on HDK TV, casted by me and Metas, streamed by Lenny and with help from Eagle. So thank you to HDK TV.
We have just been told that Fantasy is coming back, so apologies for the wait guys, but we should be recommencing the action very shortly for you. I apologise for the time, I know it's quite late, trust me. My eyes are crying at me. They're screaming.
Oh yeah.
Celebrate our diversity around the world with a passion to play. The planet will be watching, the message will be heard beyond the game. Through the portal into cyberspace, we have come to decide our fate. We're here to celebrate beyond the game. Beyond the game, at last, the moment's at hand. All we need is to believe.
Right, back.
We'll make our stand.
Bad thing is, Fantasy is not coming back yet because he has CD key in use. So, oh my god. The kill spec, which is Plums, oh, Spud's getting a +10 onto Torin, and actually it was a +0 because he got one on his teammate. And yeah, as I was saying, the kill spec has dropped in for Fantasy. Fantasy has got key code in use. So the kill spec, which is Plums, I believe, I don't know if any one of you know him, but he does get taken out by Quemo. This is one thing that YND do not want.
Well, let's just see if Fantasy's absence makes a big impact for YND. As Torin misses a relative sitter there on, I believe that was Spucks crossing over the B alley area. He's going to pre-aim and wallbang the lower bins area over there on B link. Doesn't pick anything up. Oren gets taken up from Plums. So, Plums proving himself to be quite a good stand-in for Fantasy. Thomas with the bomb is pushing to red cock. Helps gets a frag onto Camo there. And Kelbs is in the overlook area. BTEC gets a frag onto Torin, so it's a 4-on-3. BTEC has been heavily tagged from, I think that must have been Plums, but he does get the frag onto Plums, so it's a 3-on-3. It'll be interesting to see what psychological kind of change Plums coming in for Fantasy will have. Only time will tell as BTEC pushes up the top B area. I think there's probably a player to his right, as you can see that red dot on your screen, who's now coming across straight ahead of me, gets the frag onto Anton, who was the player in question in the top B house. So the bomb has also gone down from Thomas from Team Few. So a player up, bomb down. Runa is trying to do something for his team here from mid-shops, trying to wall bang, pre-aim that top B house, but no luck as of yet. BTEC has been heavily tagged. You could even say he's just been molested there from Kelbs, but he doesn't drop. So it's a 3-on-2 still. Kelbs has got gunfire going all around and there's no time left here. They really need to push that bomb. Kelbs has got the frag onto BTEC, jumps down, gets the frag onto Spucks, but the time is completely against them. And the time will run out regardless of whether Kelbs picks this up, as he does manage to do so onto Thomas. Thomas gets the, well, bomb kill from the grave. And now Few are within touching distance of YND. They're only one round behind NZ. It's 8-7 to YND.
Yeah, it's anyone's game, but it's not a good thing that Fantasy has got key code in use. And also, I just wanted to say, you remind me of that guy. You sound like that guy off Robot Wars. Anyway, you sound like that guy off Robot Wars. You know the
Scouser?
The guy off Robot Wars. The commentator dude.
There's two you dribbler. There's like the main commentator dude, and there's Craig Charles, who's like the presenter.
He's the presenter guy. Anyway, let's pick up with this game. Oh. Spucks picking up a frag on to Torin, I believe. That means scope on scope action, and Spucks coming out on top as Anton downs Thomas with his SMG. That is, and then Killspec gets Warren, and then he runs and jumps out as Spucks gets the easy and secure deagle kill. And he has the scope in hand as Quemo picks up a frag onto Anton with that headshot. And then Spucks getting a nice easy scope kill on Ruiner, and this does not look good for YND. This whole thing has affected them with Fantasy timing out, etc. And what I really wanted to say, if I was Few, I would have timed out for them just for sportsmanship. I know it's just a game, but it's still nice for them if they actually did that.
Indeed, but as you say, they don't actually have to. It's a decision that they chose not to make, and I can only ever wish that I was Craig Charles Enzi. The guy is a legend. As Kamal gets the first frag onto Kelbs, and Runa manages to pick up that frag onto BTEC with the AK around the B area, I think that was. Switch over to see how Runa is. Yep, he is in B. As Torin gets a frag of his own onto Warren, so it's a 4-on-3 against Few here. And it is all even again at 8-all. So again, they've made a really nice comeback as they did in that first map that we saw. Must have incredible psychological strength not to let themselves rage or push the self-destruct button, but just to hold their heads high and get back into the game. Spucks has gone down from Anton's SMG, so YND now 2 players to the good over Few. Thomas has seen a player in flowers that was Anton, and Anton manages to take him out, so just Kemo remains. Kemo doesn't last too long on his own as Plums comes around the corner with that AK, picking up the frag. It's now 9-8 to YND, who again extend their lead.
Yeah, but like you said, Few are not out of this game yet. They are just keeping their heads high and just playing like a team should do. They haven't raged, they haven't said one thing in global chat that is offensive, they haven't just become unfocused as BTEC gets a frag on Anton, then Torin getting a frag onto Thomas with the grenade kill. It's 4v4 now. 2 is actually in the B house as Spucks gets a very nice shot onto Kelbs as Torin trying to go for that jump but gets tagged up very heavy from, I believe, BTEC, who was in mid shops. But they have got the bomb on the A site with 3 people about to push A. See if the scope can counteract their move in onto the A bomb site. There is one on double palms, there is one on the B house, and Torin, I believe, does not manage to pick up that frag and the guy crossing to the bomb site as Spucks gets a very nice frag onto Ruiner. And it is now Torin and Plums remaining 2v4 situation, and if they can work together here they can easily pick up this frag, but not with Torin going down as Warren picks up the SMG kill as he comes behind, and BTEC finishing it all off. And this game is backwards and forwards. One team gets around and the other team gets back up, another team gets around, and it's just backwards and forwards.
Absolutely. It's very difficult to really call which team's going to go ahead and pick this game, make it their own. I mean, Few look so much more composed than they did earlier in this matchup. When there's one player left, they're not chasing after him like we saw against Kelbs. So I'm laughing as I've got someone on Nextfire telling me I should rename to Craig Charles. I might actually do that. Runa picks up a frag on Warren, jumps around the corner, doesn't manage to link it to a second frag as BTEC closes him down. Thomas replying onto Kelbs, so it's now a 4-on-3. Kelbs with some rage there, telling him to F off. Anton gets a frag of his own onto Chemo. Chemo did just previously get a frag of his own, so it's now a 2-on-1 as Anton and BTEC exchange frags. Anton gets the frag on Spucks just before being deagled down from BTEC. So it is Plums versus Thomas and BTEC, and Plums has been heard and he has been fragged from Thomas. So for the first time in a long time in this match, maybe the first time ever in this strike match, Few find themselves ahead.
And Crossfire. And Crossfire. I don't believe they even went ahead once in Crossfire either. So this puts Few in a very nice position, as it is a very close match. I'm really hoping for overtime. And as Torin gets a frag onto Warren, then BTEC onto Runa, then Torin again with another scope frag, then Anton getting the frag onto BTEC. 2v4 situation in favour of YND. Sparks getting tagged up a bit there, but he will regen until he gets taken out by Kelbs, and then Kelbs getting another frag, and it's evened up again, Vince. Another backwards and forwards, 2 rounds in a row, 10 all. Oh my god.
It's just too close to call, really, too close for comfort. I'm going to follow Few and see what they can do on the attack here as BTEC bites the dust very early in this round as Torin picks him up. Thomas replying onto Kelbs with that set nade. Kelbs again raging. He doesn't seem like a happy bunny at the moment. So it's all even. One player down a piece. One is in that overlook area with the deagle out. He tries his luck on the mid shops, which may have been Ruiner. I'll switch over and see who it was. Now Ruiner is actually in the CAF area with the SMG. There is a player to his right outside the CAF area. Just seeing what he can do. And it is Warren with the deagle and the SMG. Warren needs to be careful here. If he commits to CAF, he is going to find himself dead. And he just backs out. Sixth Sense telling him to. Thomas did get a frag there as I was talking. Onto, I think it may have been Torrent. So it's a 4-on-2 now as Spucks comes into mid-shops onto Anton. So definitely the favour is in the Few hands, and Spucks has also picked up that frag onto Plums as well, and he is being called a cheater from Torrent. Don't really see it personally, Torrent, mate. So it is a 4-on-1 now. Runa has it all to do. And he is in that calf. He's tagged Warren heavily, but he is AK-47'd from Chemo. And it is now 11-10 to Few.
Well casted so far, Craig, and it looks like Fantasy is reconnecting just in time for the few last rounds, what might help YND get back into this game and maybe win the game, or maybe even getting a draw. But Torin picking up a quick frag, and then Plums getting a frag, then Spucks onto Torin. So the YND scope is down with Thomas getting very heavily tagged up from the Few side. Spucks wiping out Anton, and then Ruiner picking up a very nice deagle kill onto Warren. 3v2 situation as Kells picks up the frag on Spucks, and by the looks of it, it looks like it might be a 11-11 again. And yes, it will. Another tie, and Fantasy is back in the game, so this might just help YND win this game. What do you think, Vince?
I mean, it's no disrespect to Plums, he's a good player, but obviously Fantasy brings that caliber with him that you really want. And not just the caliber, but the experience too. He's been to LAN finals, he's been there, he's done that, he's got the t-shirt. He's the kind of player that you really want to come onto your team at this kind of situation. And he is back, as Kells picks up that frag onto B-Tech. Spux is also down for few with the kill spec nading himself. Obviously he's taken out the round so that Fantasy could join in. Kelps has been taken out from Warren, so it is a 3-on-4 situation against Few here. So can YND convert this advantage into a round, take them to championship point or cup point or whatever you want to call it? Because obviously whoever wins this map will win the cup, the My Dream Cup hosted by ESH. So everything's went quite quiet here. Thomas is peering around the corner. He has seen a player on single palms. Manages to close off Anton, who is peeking around, trying to get the player in the calf. Let me have a look who the player in calf was. It was Camo, and he has jumped out now into statue. The bomb is around front A, and it is down. So, I think Thomas has went to go and pick that up. Yes, he has. He smoked the cross, so he'd get safe passage to the A bomb site. And it looks like they're going to try and push and drive that home now as Runa comes around the corner, picking up the frag on Chemo. Warren replying onto Torin, so it's now a 2-on-2. Runa getting this secondary frag onto Thomas. That could prove to be crucial for YND. Runa going huge when it really matters. He's nearly picked up his third frag, but he doesn't manage to convert it as Warren deagles him down, so it's a 1-on-1 Fantasy versus Warren. Warren is the bottom fragger for Few at the moment, and he has been taken out from Fantasy, who has just returned, so Fantasy coming back and doing the work when it needs to be done. 12-11 now to YND. Can Few bring it back again?
I really do hope so. I really want to see an overtime, and I hope people in the IRC right now of H2K want a draw, as Killspec needs himself like he should do. And Torin picking up a frag kill onto Warren. This is very, very close, this game, as Spucks nearly getting taken out, but Spucks gets the frag on Torin. A very crucial frag. Spucks got very heavily tagged, and then B-Tech taken out. Fantasy is now a 4v2 situation. This could be overtime again, but actually it's a 4v3, but now it's a 4v2. Quemo picking up the frag on Kelbs, and this could prove to be another well, it won't be another, it will be an overtime, unless Ruiner and Anton can bring this back. They are in steady positions, but if one of them goes down, Ruiner has gave away his position. There's one behind Cav, and the Spucks is going to take him out, so it is Anton all left, and and Anton picking the frag up onto B-Tech. If YND want to win this game, Anton's going to have to go off huge. And Thomas missing a load of hip-fire shots. That is not good from the few players. Spucks has got his scope on. He's going to get the plant down, as Anton picks up the frag, but Spucks gets the frag onto Anton, and we will have a overtime game in this very close final. Oh my god, Vince, this is a very exciting final. Draw on both maps. Amazing.
Well, hats off to Anton on that last round. That was a heroic effort. He nearly pulled off, I think it was a 1v3 or a 1v4 clutch, which would have been just unbelievable way to take them to victory, but it didn't manage to do it. Spucks held firm, killed him, and we are in overtime, as you say. And this has just been back and forth the entire match. The first map, in case you just joined us, was Crossfire, and it was 12 apiece, so it was a tie. And again it's gone to 12 apiece in this second map of Strike. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens here, Anzi.
Indeed.
I'm still being asked who the casters are. Well, I'm Metis, and I am joined today by Enzi. So I hope that helps some of you guys recognise our voices. Or perhaps you don't really give a crap. In which case, that's fair enough.
And B-Tech actually asking for overtime on Cross now. What is very weird.
Well, I mean, to be honest, they should have brought that up then. They can't just do it now.
I gave them the chance on Cross, and they did not take it, so...
A full map has been played, and now they bring it up.
I just asked Ruiner and about overtime or a third map, and Ruiner is actually saying third map question mark. So maybe and I think it will be a third map. I don't know if anyone at home wants this, but I believe there will be a third map now.
Well, Craig Charles is always up for a bit of casting, so go for it, dude.
I don't think overtime would be a fair way to settle this, as there was not overtime on thingy. But I'm not.
But I mean,
I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt of having backlot. I'm going to tell them to knife for the map, or will it be backlot? I'll ask them both to agree on this map.
well, I've just been told on X-Fire to say 3, 2, 1, activate. If you've ever seen Robot Wars, you'd understand that joke. Never mind, let's just move on from that. Anywho, yeah, I mean, NZ's the admin, so I guess what he says goes. It looks like we'll be playing a third map. My voice is being destroyed as I have a cold, because I'm pathetic like that. But I'll keep soldiering on.
Can we just leave the stream running and go to bed?
I've just told them they will be knifing for the map, so we don't give YND a whole advantage, as they did choose backlot. What I don't think is very fair, if you know what I mean.
Well, to be fair, I can see backlot not taking very long, because it's a very aggressive kind of map. On both sides, really. It's a kind of a rush to get into A quite a lot of the time. So I can see this being a much quicker map than the likes of Crossfire or Strike were.
Indeed, I have ruled out Crossfire and Strike to be the third map, and I believe this game deserves a third map. Draws on both first and second maps. It's been very close this evening. Tonight, actually.
We've got people on IRC and people messaging me too, asking what's the deal with the third map. Guys, I'm not the admin, I have no idea. Enzy's the guy you need to speak to.
I basically gave them a choice. You want a third map, or do you want to just do overtime on Strike? They decided on a third map, as this has been a very close game, etc. So yeah, we will have a third map. It's been a very nice final so far. So yeah.
It's kind of confusing, because it seems that one of the YND players has left and one of the few players has left too, so I am clueless.
So am I.
4 on 4 is still fair.
Plums is replacing Anton.
Fanatics replacing Few, and Region Gaming's replacing YND.
Okay, Thomas is coming back.
Alright, I believe this will be...
NZ, are you on the H2K IRC?
Yes, I am.
Because Miracle would like to talk to you about kill specking, I believe.
Okie dokie. Miracle will be joining us, I believe. He'll be kill specking. there will be a knife for maps, then it will be MR3 on the maps. Hopefully you guys at home are enjoying this. I am in the H2K TV ERC if you would like to give your comments on it. Thank you.
Okay, so this is a knife?
Yeah, for maps, and then it's MR3
Okay.
on whichever map they choose.
Some people are asking why there's 6v5, YND have a kill spec.
Yep, they have another kill
Which-
spec,
Yes.
which is lemon.
And we have the machine, the miracle machine, in spectate as well, just keeping an eye on things. So, just to reiterate, NZ, they're going to knife for sides, a knife for map, and then it's going to be an MR3 on the said map. Is that correct?
Is so YND get to choose the map and sides, so it will be backlit.
Right. So, that knife is basically pointless. Excellent.
Yeah. Excellent, Smithers. See, I can't do it like you.
Smithers. To be honest, my voice is too screwed to even do it anymore.
People are asking why we let Miracle come. He is part of H2K and this is H2K TV.
Wait a second. It's HGK
Yes.
TV. Miracle's got nothing to do here.
Well, he has now.
Alright, that's your call. But we are completely separate from the gaming section. FYI.
Oh.
Eagle
What you talking about,
stamping the
Willis?
authority boot down.
Yes,
From me
sir.
and NZ. What can you do when Eagle goes huge on you, NZ? Yeah.
Now, YND is saying they... So hopefully this game will be over soon, but I'm not sure what's going to happen if there's another draw. Another overtime, I presume.
I am so very confused.
Just waiting for Thomas to switch sides. We will get this underway right now. In a very exciting game so far. 12-12 on strike and crossfire. We have just knifed for the map and side, and it will be played. Okay. Looks like both teams wants to play MR12. Vince, you up for it, buddy?
As long as you don't mind me falling asleep at the keyboard.
You won't be falling asleep because these are two very exciting sides.
He says,
So what's
Anyway.
happening? Is it MR3 or MR12?
MR12. They both agreed on it, so yeah. Vince, go ahead, take it away.
Alrighty then. I'll follow Fantasy as Plums and Toron both get a frag grenade. So 2 few players are down. All 5 of YND still remain. Fantasy coming up huge here, but doesn't manage to get anything. I actually thought he got 2 kills and he got 0. Miracle says, I would have got them both. To rub salt into the wounds. Just Thomas remains for Few, as Kelbs gets demolished from his own teammate of Plums. Interesting stuff there, Plums. Nicely done. So Thomas is still remaining. He's back at their spawn around Elbend area. Has seen Torin, doesn't manage to get anything on Torin. Torin picks up the frag, and once again YND take the first round of the map. They've done that 3 times consecutively now.
Yes, anyway, let's pick up with Spucks. The scope for Few. This is a very close quarter map here. On attack, my team does not go with the scope. But Torin getting a very nice wallbang onto Spucks, and Thomas getting a frag onto Fantasy. AK 300 ping, then Thomas getting another kill onto Plums with that SMG. And all of a sudden, and Quemo getting another frag onto Kelbs. And B-Tech getting a frag onto Runa also. This could be another game where it's backwards and forwards. If so, we're in for a very exciting match. It is a 1v4 situation in favour of Few, and Warren takes down Torin with the AK-47, and Few untouched that game, untouched that round actually, and getting a clean swoop on YND.
A clean swoop. Yes, NZ! You sexy, sexy bastard. Torin gets the first frag of the round onto Thomas. I'm just commenting on your sex appeal, which I find huge. Rune is looking in the bottom A. Sorry for the random dribble, guys. It's late. What can you do? Warren gets the frag onto Plums in the face. Chemo and VTech both come up huge for their team, taking out Torin and Kelbs. So Fantasy and Runa remain. Fantasy has managed to pick up that frag on Chemo, who's pushing up mid. Sees another player in the mid area, which I think was Spucks. Doesn't manage to get the kill as Warren comes to his teammates' rescue, closing Fantasy off in the back. Just Runa remains, jumps around the corner, does get closed off from B-Tech with the SMG, and it's now 2-1 to Few. So YND started on the board. Few have now overtaken them. I can't even talk. Great.
It is very, very late, so sorry if there's any random dribble. We will pick up Kelbs with that SMG in hand, pushing through the A site, as Fantasy denies B-Tech of pushing into that A site, and there is a couple round mid-house as Quemo gets tagged up. So does Fantasy, and a bit slow-paced from the other games as Spucks and Kelbs get a frag apiece, as Runa gets a frag as well for YND, and then Kelbs picks up the frag on Warren. Very nice there, as Spucks gets the frag on Torin, and then Kelbs getting the easy wallbang onto Spucks, and Kelbs picking up, I think, 2 or 3 frags that round. That was very well played by Kelbs, who I was specking at the time.
I love how you put that in the end. Who I was specking at the time. I'm going to follow Kelbs now, as he's pushing into the B area, and he has been taken out by a really random nade off Spucks. And Kelbs has said, what is that nade? LMFAO. And to be honest, I agree with you, Kelbs. I feel your pain. That was random as hell. Really strange. Anyway, Runa. Runa is pushing into the Elbend area. Has seen a player top ruins. Does get taken out from one who is occupying a top ruins area. Fantasy picks up a frag, as does Torin, so it's a 3-on-2 now. Bombs has taken down Chemo, so just one remains, but he has started off in the best possible way. Briskly gets taken out by Fantasy, and YND again go ahead, so it's been back and forth, back and forth. Wouldn't be surprised if Few win the next 2 rounds and go ahead, and then YND come back and go ahead, and it goes into overtime, then we do a 4th map, and then I die of AIDS.
No, if there is a draw, what there might well be, then it will go into overtime on this map, and then we will finally finish it. And Thomas picking up the opening frag onto Plums with that SMG, and Thomas gets tagged up himself there, but he will regen, and he has full health. The bomb is on the B site as Quemo gets a frag onto Runa with the AK-47. And Kelbs pushing around that tin area, picking up the frag onto Thomas as Quemo gets the plant on the bomb as B-Tech picks up a nice easy kill onto Fantasy. and very defensive positions for Few. What they need, as Kelbs gets a very nice frag on to Warren. As he sees one goes to a left, he gets another frag onto Sparks. Kelbs doing a lot for YND at the moment, and sees him under the vehicle, and he does get tagged up a bit, but he has got to get that defuse. And if he wants a chance, if they want a chance of winning this game, Torin will have to pick up that frag. But maybe, just maybe, Kelbs will get this defused. But I don't think it was in time. If it is, then no, it wasn't. If Torin was able to get that frag, then Kelbs would have had that defuse and maybe would have won that round. But I'm not sure, Vince. What do you think?
Honestly, I was kind of busy itching my nuts, but I did pick some of that round up, and from what I saw, it was very, very close, which has been really the theme of this game so far. It's been so close you just can't divide these two teams. And Few, I'll be completely honest with you, I have never heard of this team before, or any of its players, so they're relatively unknown. You have YND with some household names in it, and I'm amazed that Few have managed to keep up, and at times even best YND, because, you know, for me, I don't know about you, Enzy, but I assumed that YND were going to walk away with this game quite comfortably at the beginning.
Yes, indeed. That's by going on the names, though, but as I found out earlier, you need teamwork if you're going to be a good player, mate.
Absolutely. It's not all about individual skill, it's how well the team gels together. And right now, these two teams are completely even with one another. It's 3-3. The previous two maps have both gone the distance at 12-12. So you just can't divide these two teams, and it's currently a 2-on-1 against Few, and Kelbs picks up those two last frags and wins his team the round, so it is now 4-3 to YND. But as we've said, consistently in this match, it's so close.
It is indeed, Vince, it is indeed. And we'll pick up with Torin with that scope, aiming down the alley. And this is one of my less preferred maps, if I'm going to be honest with you, Vince. I'm not sure about you, but Warren has a shotgun and picks up the kill onto Fantasy. Well, it was quite weird, and then Torin, and then Kelbs getting the deagle shot onto Thomas, and it's just so late here, I just can't think right now. As Torin gets a very nice wallbang onto Quimo, and then Sparks getting the kill onto Kelbs. Now that is a 3-on-2 in favour of Few. The bomb is down as Plums and B-Tech get a frag apiece, one onto Sparks and one onto Ruiner. And 2v2 evened out here. Plums and Torin, but Plums is taken down by Warren with that SMG, and Torin has a lot to do considering the time, and he will not get to the bomb and defuse, and again backwards and forwards, 4-4 again. It just keeps going backwards and forwards, Vince. Maybe another draw, do you think?
I think it's kind of too early to tell. The only thing I do know is I've got a black screen because my COD decided to shoot itself in the face, so you're going to have to take over, mate, while I restart COD.
Okie dokie, we have Kelbs in that bottom A site. It is a 5v4. Quimo getting tagged up quite heavy as Kelbs gets the grenade kill onto Sparks, and then Quimo getting the frag onto Ruiner with the AK-47, then Kelbs getting a very nice deagle shot onto Quimo, and that puts YND in favour, and Fantasy will get a deagle shot onto Warren as well, and Metas has timed out due to his COD mucking up. Thomas getting heavily tagged there, and Torin getting the deagle shot, and finishing off that round there. 5-4 to YND, and we will pick up with Warren off that spawn with the AK-47 for Few.
Enzy, would you be able to copy and paste me the IP and password, buddy?
Yes, I will.
Merci.
Alright, done.
Dankeschön.
So we have Warren here, and while I come back, Fantasy gets taken out by B-Tech. Very nice SMG kill by B-Tech, and Warren picking up the frag onto Kelbs, and Few again wiping out the YND players, and then Quemo getting a frag, then Plums getting a frag onto B-Tech, then Plums getting another frag. It's very nice there, and then Torin getting the deagle shot onto Warren. The Quemo again onto Torin. It's just backwards and forwards. It's a 1v1 now. They are very close. Quimo probably has the upper hand, and he will get this round for Few, and again tied up. He just keeps going backwards and forwards again.
Right, Mystic Madness is going to go into effect here. I'm going to predict that at half time it's going to be 6-6. Now I know that's a crazy prediction. I know. You're thinking, Matt, you're a madman. I am. But I'm assuming, I'm guessing, I'm going to call it now. It's going to be 6-6. And if it isn't, then, well,
shoot
I don't
yourself
want to think about it.
on public TV.
I will do that. Anywho, let's follow this round as Ruiner and Chemo both get a kill each. Just too few players remain with a full 4 on YND. Spox does get that frag onto Torrent with the AK. Plums also gets a frag as Spox comes around with the AK, getting a double frag onto Fantasy and Plums. That's his third frag that I've seen so far. It's a one-on-one situation, Kelbs versus Spoxy, and Spoxy has gone huge so far in this round. He has been spotted from Kelbs, heavily tagged. Kelbs also got minorly tagged in the process. And Spox has picked that bomb site up, which was bottom mid-house. Kelbs just saw... Maybe he didn't see Spox. I must be seeing things in my old age, but I thought he saw Spox in the top of mid-house, or the mid of mid-house, as Spox is going to push over to the B bomb site. Nice flash from Kelbs there, really set that kill up for himself. Spox had a snowstorm in front of him, couldn't see a single thing. Kelbs comes round the corner, closes him off, and at the moment you can see on the scoreboard Kelbs has 16 frags, 2 assists, 7 deaths, so he's definitely performing well for his team here, and I'm going to assume that few are going to go and take this round to make it 6-6. And look at that B-Tech with a double nade, what can you do?
Very nice nade there from B-Tech, and Spox getting a frag onto Fantasy, and then Plums replying onto B-Tech from that double nade with that frag, then Warren picking up the frag onto Torrent after he kills Spox, and the last YND member is in the mid, pushing into the front A, and I think Warren heard him. He's to the right of the A house. Quemo heard him as well. Warren is looking at them stairs, and Warren will pick up that frag, and Mystic Metas is right, and he will not have to kill himself for my loss, and I'm gonna make a prediction, what will probably be wrong, but would be very good. I predict a draw again on this map, and then a draw on overtime.
I'm going to predict 13-10 to YND, okay? I've got one right so far, 6-6, and I'm going to predict 13-10. Okay, we just got told from Lenny, who's our streamer today, that if this map goes to a draw, we should determine who wins by paper, rock, scissor. And I couldn't agree more with him. I don't know how you would adjudicate that, because you know, how are you going to do that when you can't see the players? But I agree with him, it's a great idea. Ah, Lenny is a genius.
Vince?
Sorry, mate. Oh, of course, we can't hear Lenny. I apologise. They both tell an admin what they choose, then the admin tells everybody what they both chose and who wins. There we go. Problem solved. And Chemo has fallen so far, as has Spox. Spox has got a frag, I should say, sorry, as does B-Tech. So YND are a player down at the moment. It's a 3-on-2. Actually, it's a 3-on-3. Sorry, the kill spec confusing me. We actually had a few players before asking again why it looks like YND only have 4 players. It's a kill spec bug. You can't see for some reason, some kind of glitch, as Kelbs gets a double frag. Thomas does reply onto Torum. It's now a 2-on-1. Thomas is pushing towards the A bomb site. There is a player right ahead of him, does get that frag in the face, but he didn't see Kelbs at top A lurking around. Picks him up with the SMG. I think that's probably his 3rd frag of the round. 7-6 to YND, and I'm still sticking by what I said. I think this will be 13-10 to YND overall.
I'm not sure how it will go, but I've been requested on Xfire that we follow Spox off the spawn, and he has dropped the scope, I believe, but then gets scoped by Torin, and I don't think we'll be following him this round. Anyway, Fantasy gets the frag onto Quimo with that SMG, and then Torin getting heavily tagged from behind, and so does Thomas. But Thomas ends up getting the frag onto Torin, backwards and forwards tagging there, and Fantasy in that middle area and sees him to the left. Reaction wasn't up to standard. It is very late as Warren picks up the frag onto Fantasy, and oh my god, it sounded gay then. And then Ruiner with the AK-47. No, Kelv's getting a frag onto B-Tech with that SMG, and then Plums again a kill onto Thomas. So it is a 1v3 situation. Warren in that mid thing in a very vulnerable position. One is top A and Warren spraying at nothing. One is coming behind him. I don't think he actually knows, and he's going to be to his left. He picks up that frag. That would be very handy for him, but I'm not sure if that will happen. He gets flashed up by Kelbs. Kelbs gets the frag. Kelbs now on 21-8 for YND.
Oh, I see what you did there. 21-8, and he has 2 assists. You are a genius. Chemo gets the frag onto Torin.
What are you on about, mate?
He has 2 assists, 20-8, 21-8. Never mind, it's over your head. Dribble. Anywho, let's get back into the action as Fantasy picks up a very tasty double frag. Kelbs, I should say, and he said Chemo there, he's playing for Few. Kelbs comes around with the Deagle frag onto Warren, close range affair, then AK-47s, spots across the map. He is bottom A. Chemo does actually return fire onto Fantasy before being taken out from Plums, and it's now 9-6. First time we've actually seen this kind of lead occur in this game, or at least this map, which is quite strange when you consider its backlot.
Yeah. But remember, Few are not out of this game, as you saw on Strike and Crossfire, and Thomas getting that all-important first frag as Torin gets a very random no-scope onto Quemo, and then spamming his bind. You mad, bruh? Well, he didn't say the Bravo, but you get it. And Torin, with that scope in hand, one player located to his right. I don't think he knows. As Spucks gets the frag onto Kelbs, there is one on top A, as Torin knows. Thomas getting 2 frags in a row, and all of a sudden Torin is all on his own for YND. 1v4 situation, and Torin sees one of them, gets a very nice flick shot onto Thomas with that scope in hand, and there is one to his right, and will get taken down by Spucks, and Few may be coming back here, I'm not sure.
And that's the first time we've really seen a lead like this open up, and straight away Few just close it back up again. So we'll have to see if they can pick this round up. Chemo and Thomas going about it the right way with a frag grenade each. Kelbs said aimbot nade. Fair play. Fantasy is pushing the envelope on around the rat hole area. He has decided to go bottom mid. He's pushing up to the mid of mid. The mid house of mid. And there are players everywhere that you look on Fantasy's screen. There's a player to his right, there's a player ahead of him, there's a player ahead of him and to the right, there's a player behind him. So he really is encircled here as Spucks gets that frag onto Plums. So just Fantasy and Ruiner remain here. Fantasy has seen a player, which I believe was Spucks, in that top ruins area, pulled his Deagle out but didn't manage to land that frag. Torin is already asking if this is 12-12 fourth map. Kelb says no, I'm going, which I understand. Fantasy comes around the corner, gets a frag onto Chemo, runs back again, smart play, doesn't want to stay in the same spot for too long, otherwise he'll get fragged himself. He has heard the rat hole player pre-firing across, jumps over in time to see Thomas crawling through the rat area, closes Thomas off. It's a 3-on-2 at the moment, but that's 2 players in a row have fallen against Few, and Fantasy has been shut down in the back as he was chasing, I think that was Warren, through the mid-house. Warren comes around the corner, closing off Ruiner, and could this be 9-9? Well, I wouldn't put it past Few.
Same here. Let's pick up Spucks from the spawn. Has dropped that scope. Still picking up the frags without that scope anyway, with the AK-47 around B Ruin's sight. And Thomas getting another very tasty nade kill. 2 of YND's players, and then Spucks picking up the frag onto top middle house, and then Fantasy picking up the frag back onto Spucks with that headshot with the SMG. Plums has got the bomb, but he is still in spawn, what is not good. And BTEC throwing a flash into mid, or at the side. Few in very defensive positions here. They don't really want to move. They're in the very good positions. 2 on A, 1 in mid, 1 on B. To got everything covered, I think. As Warren, if he peeks out right of them barrels, he's going to get shut down by Plums. But he does not, as Plums is rotating back to the B area with that AK-47 in hand, as Fantasy picks up the frag on BTEC. And then another frag onto Warren, evening out 2-all.
Did you see how BTEC was camping there?
Team. No, I do not. No, I did not.
He was asking for a fist up his ass. It was the most retarded SWAT I've ever seen. He was prone in the middle of bottom A, looking up front A doors. And Fantasy really is just cleaning up here, because he's been given the opportunity to. That was a 4-on-2, and Fantasy killed 4 players. 4 players from Few. Again, they just threw the round away there. And I don't know what BTEC was doing in that position. Oh dear me. I understand it's late, but still, does that mean you lose all intelligence?
Indeed. And that could really decide the whole game if you think about it. That could have been the one crucial round.
But I'm still amazed that BTEC was in that position when he knew that Fantasy was around the A site, because Fantasy had been moving. He'd already closed off a player or two. So they knew he was around there. It was just dumb play. But anyway, in this round it's a 2-on-2. Torin and Runa against Chemo and Thomas. And Runa is going for that bomb plant. There is a player around the red container area just in front of Runa. And it was Chemo. And what was Chemo doing? The bomb was going down and he just laid there and let it happen. Again, I just
gonna get back right.
Can't fathom. And he's now been closed off. They know where he is. You have Runa and Girders spraying through the wall at him, and 27 seconds remaining on the clock, and I don't see Few winning this round. And again, he could have stopped that plank go down very comfortably as Torrin with a brilliant grenade set up perfectly. Runa comes in with the secondary frag. It's 11-8, but the last 2 rounds, Few have literally just thrown down the shitter. They haven't bothered with them, and as a result, it's now 11-8, and YND only need 2 rounds to win it.
Maybe Few feeling the pressure here and maybe giving in to YND. They seem to lost motivation, it seems, and their sense is absolutely below normal or even average. I know it's late, like you said, but really you don't lose all intelligence, like you said, as it is a 3v2 in... no, it's a 3v3, sorry. Due to the thing is now a 3v2 in favour of YND, with Plums getting that frag up onto Sparks and Fantasy actually pushing. No, maybe not. Warren in a weird place as well. I don't know. No, he was laying down, but he does get that frag onto Runa. That might have been the important frag to win this round. What they really need. And no, Fantasy denies Warren of getting the frag onto him. So it's all up to BTEC. And it is 1v2. I don't know what Few are doing these past few rounds. They were playing really well and then they just switched off.
They literally, as you said, they just seem to switch off a bit. Just kind of throw away a couple rounds that before they would have won quite comfortably. And as you say, I mean, it's like a... well, I was going to say it's a 2-on-1, but BTEC's been closed off. Cup point. Now to YND, and I'm kind of hoping that Few win a couple rounds, so my prediction was right. But I would not put it past YND to win this, because Few seem to have kind of just given up. And I've been asked now to see who's who. I am Metis, and the other dude is NZ, and we are your casters this evening. As Kelps has been taken out relatively quick, Spucks and Warren both get a frag apiece, so perhaps Few once again are going to bounce back when it looked unlikely. Torin picks up a frag of his own onto BTEC with the scope. So Torin and Runa remain. Runa's currently on 5 for 16, so not really doing it for his team as of yet, and he does have the bomb in hand. looking towards L-Bend. There is actually a player there as Spox gets a frag onto Torrens, so just Runa remains. He is in the middle of nowhere in Lower Ruins area. It looks like Kelbs is leaving and Miracle stepping in for him. I'm not sure that's allowed. Considering, is he part of the lineup? Anyway, let's talk about that afterwards. Runa saw a player top A, which I believe was Warren, but didn't get the frag. Comes around the corner, Spux picks up the frag onto Runa, and it is now 12-9 to YND, and there has been quite a strange substitution made from YND. It looks like Miracle's going to step in for Kelbs. And when you're against Miracle and Fantasy, well, you may as well just bend over and take it like a man.
So we'll actually pick it up with Miracle, his first round of the whole tournament, as Quemo gets frag onto Torin. Plum's getting a grenade kill on to Quemo, Fantasy and Machine getting a frag apiece, and already Few is down. And as it's last round, I don't think I'll take much action to this if they do win this. I don't think it's had a major effect, as Miracle only got one frag. But anyway, that was a very good game. 2 games, 12 all. Now 13-9.
Come on, I missed out on my prediction by 1 round. Come on, Few. Have your back.
Yeah, like you said, they just switched off really. They could have had that. They could have at least got the draw in that.
Well, they lost a couple rounds they really shouldn't have done, and at the end of the day, a couple rounds in CoD is a huge deal, and they paid for it. So congratulations to YND, they win the second My Dream ESH Cup in a row, and I'm sure Enzi will be bringing you some more of the next few months.
Yep, I will hopefully be getting the sign up for next week going tomorrow on esportsheaven.com. There will be 64 slots, so we can get a few more people. Hopefully get a stream and shoutcast going. And also, before we go off the air, I want to thank HDK TV again. Eagle, Lenny, big thanks to them for helping us make this cup much better. Same with Metas, my co-caster.
Now, I guess in turn, I'd like to thank Eze very, very much for casting. I think it's been about 5 hours now. It's been an epically long cast, and so in the same way, Metis for joining in the last couple of hours. Eze, of course, you can find his cups on Tech9 and on Esports Heaven in the future. And Metis, you can find him on Rage TV amongst other casting organizations. You guys want to close off with anything?
I'm cool, man.
Just thanks to you guys for providing the stream, a top quality stream here at HTK TV. Thanks Enzi for getting me in, and thanks all you guys that watched at home.
You're very welcome. Of course, you can catch this match and many others of this cup on the VODs tonight or tomorrow, I believe, on hdktv.com/VOD. We hope you've enjoyed this cast on HDK TV, and we hope to see you again next time. Thank you for watching. Good night.